So I have finished the stitch that I wanted to use on my rug for everything but the row that was taped. And remember, we taped the row. There. We made sure it was very straight, that it was all touching. We put the tape on to secure the row so that we could stitch inside of that secure row and know that we're going to have a good even edge for a rug. Now comes the time when we need to stitch the last row. So we need to take the tape off. And by the way, I wanted to show you something. I thought that this would be great to do the basting. I have it here, but look what happened. And this is in the video with the Flowers of Spring teaching rug, the threads, how to choose your thread color. You would think that it would be enough of a contrast, but look, very, very similar. I don't know if I can bring that up and show you or not. There. It's just a bit different, but we want something very different. We want something like a red. Because when you're stitching, you need to make sure that what you're pulling out is your basting thread and not your stitching thread. So we need something like that. Something that's, let's see now, there. The other thing I wanted to show you, this is just a one stack, but you can make this a two stack by having the small pennies on it. We're just doing one stack now, so I just thought I'd mention that. We'll do two stack after we finish our rug. Now we're going to take the tape off, and I will come back and get ready to do that in just a second. So now we're ready to take the tape off, and I'm going to exchange the Scotch tape with a piece of masking tape, and I'll explain that when we finish. So the first thing you do is you put your something, either a book or something that you can put your hand on and hold your pennies down, and your pennies will be basted, and then you very slowly remove your Scotch tape, and try not to remove it gently, and try not to take any of the pennies with. I got it caught here. Okay, so I guess I don't have my scissors here, so I'll just let that hang. So the purpose of holding it down is you don't want to get it too much out of alignment. Now, that's good. Now, we're going to put our masking tape. And I use masking tape in many of my older videos, and I just think it's a really good straight edge. There, now. This one is a little under, so we have to make sure that that comes out. So now when I stitch, I'm going to start my stitch from here, and I'm going to make sure that that penny is even with the tape, and you will have a nice straight edge. This one is a bit up. I don't know, can you see? I can't raise that, but it's a bit out. So when you do your stitching, you have to pull that even with your tape. So once again, you hold it down very securely, a book or anything, very gently, and remember you have taken some of the sticky off your tape before you put it on, so you try not to fray your pennies. Just keep going with your nail as you go along. There. One thing I shouldn't have done, my rug is so small and I overlap my tape, and that's why I'm having trouble. I need to cut that off, but my scissors isn't here. So then you make sure that you have it straight, and it's probably going to be straight, and add your tape, and you will continue all the way around the rug. And then I will stitch my last row. Now, I'm going to show you 3 different edges. Now, the first edge that I'm going to show you is this one. It's the original rug, and it has half a penny showing. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and then I'm also going to show you how to do an edge that you just fold your edge back and slip stitch it, and you're just going to have an edge like that. Then another edge I'm going to show you is I'm going to put a binding on, and I'm going to do a very thin binding like that. Thin because the rug is small, the binding in proportion to the rug. So I'm going to show you how to do those 3. And there is one thing that you need to know about this one while you are doing the stitching. So I'll be back and show you that. Now, something I forgot to show you when we were taking the tape off. Sometimes, depending on if I have pennies that fray or not, sometimes I don't use the flat piece of something and put pressure on it. I use my fingers, so I just start the tape. I hold the pennies down and gently go like this with my fingers. Now, with this method, I find it better, but you don't have that other fingernail to help not have the edges fray when you remove that tape. So either way will work. If you do have some frays, just clip them. You're not going to hurt anything. There. Now, this is the hexagon, and I'm going to put the tape around, and then I'm going to finish the stitch around. With this one, I'll show you how to do the binding. I think maybe I'll put the blue binding on there because I have it. Or maybe I have another one that I might put on. But I'm also going to show you, but not do, the one that you fold back and your rug just has the edges showing. That's the easiest. You see that one? That one I'm not going to do, but I'll show you. I'm going to put the binding on this one. So I needed another rug to show you how to do this technique with the open edge. So I've started another little rug. Now with this one, I have just the small center, and then I've only got this row, and I'm going to eliminate a row because I don't want to do the stitching. So I basted this, and what I did not do is I did not put it on a flat surface and check it. You see what happened? You really need to have that edge. Let's see if I can show you. There. Look how much I'm out. See that penny way out there? Let's try the others. That one's good. I think it's really nice to show you what not to do instead of just tell you. That one is out. And let's try this one. That one as well is out. Now you can tell that it's out because remember your guidelines. The guideline, you're supposed to have it in the center of the penny. That's a little bit off. That one's pretty good. That one's not too bad. But look at that one. That one's way over to the side. So those pennies should have scooted over, and these are the ones that when I put the edge on, they were out. They should have been over. So it is important to use the straight edge when you're doing your basting. You put your pennies, I would say that big, or 2 rows if you're doing a large rug. Then you do your straight edge and you secure those pennies with tape. Then everything inside of those will work. And that's what I didn't do with this one. And I'm definitely going to have a problem with the edge. It's going to be crooked. So with this open edge, this is what you do. If you're doing the open edge, you do not stitch the last row. I'm not doing an open edge. I'm finishing the edge to the pennies. So I will finish the last row and then I will do the edging. With this one, you need to finish this. You need to finish this on your base and then put the pennies on and stitch them so they stick out. So this is what you do. You put your pennies on. You do need to put your pennies on. And of course they're not going to work. Yes, probably it would be a good way to show you what to do if you do have a crooked rug. So you're going to put your pennies on, and I'm going to do that off camera. And I am going to use the tape. I'm going to try and get them as good as possible and then tape them down. So I'll do that and be right back. So I've set out the last row, and this is going to be the last row in this rug. And it's going to be the open penny. And I will go over this when we actually do the finish of the rug. But I wanted to make sure that you knew why you did not do and stitch that last row. So if you remember, my rug is way off. So just try and gently put it back in shape a bit. That is the big problem. If you are off, every row is going to make it worse than where you have it, the problem. So okay, I'm going to take that as good because it is the last row, and we just need this quite straight. So that's good. So I'm going to set my ruler on top of it and press down. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a mark in between there. Because that is going to be where we fold back the fabric. Now, if it's your first rug that you're doing, many of you have done rugs before, I would suggest that you do put the tape on before you mark it. Just don't put the tape. Make sure that your pencil can mark. Don't put the tape over it. Just put the tape on the very ends. Then you're sure that it's not going to move and everything is going to work. So I'll just go ahead and, you see when you turn it around, they might move, and looks good. That's probably the straight side. This one might have to come out a bit. And that's the problem with the tape. It keeps your side where you have the straight edge. If I didn't have the tape, I would have probably put that out of the straight row. Oops, sorry. Because I would have had a tendency to pull that over. So for your first time, do put the tape on. Straighten them out. Just at the tip, put the tape. And that's it. No more until I come back and show you exactly what to do with these markings. So you're going to mark just in between. And I know some of you have already done this finish before with the Avery rugs. All of the Avery rugs had this finish. So, you know, that one is way off. That's got to come down a little. That one can go up a little. So yeah, it's best if you haven't done this finish before to use the tape to keep all of these good. If you have done it before, then you don't need me to show you how to do it. So the other thing that I'm going to do is show you how to do the stitches. There are 3 different stitches, and I'm going to show you quickly how to do those stitches. I'm going to do it in a separate video though, so you don't have to go through the whole video in order to find how to do the stitches. And also the edges. I'm going to do the 3 types of edging in a separate video. So this one is now finished. I've shown you how to start your rugs, to base them. Make sure you have the straight rows, tape down, contrasting thread, and then you're good to go for stitching. And I will be back to do the separate video for these.